Hey, y'all. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. Come on in. It's Monday, Monday, Monday. Come on in, come on in, come on in. If this is your first time, that's okay. You're going to learn how we do here. Welcome in, welcome in. Hey, hey, hey. We are going to explore some complex things today, and I have so much to give you, so I promise to try and keep it short, sweet, and to the point. For those of you joining, hello, Mama Brooks. It's so good to see you. Thank you so much for joining. Those of you in Instagram, I can't see who you are unless you let me know. You type in the comment box so I know that you're here. Thank you again for joining. Today we are going to talk about love, self-worth, relationships, and of course resiliency. So we're going to talk about how do you navigate that. I mean, in today's world, we're talking about uh, love me or love me not. You're talking about rejection, emotional healing, all of those things we're going to try and cover today, all in this 30-minute block. So hang on tight, put your seatbelts on. It is going to be a bumpy ride, but all for the glory of God and for you to grow your mind for yourself. All right, so it is Monday because you know we like to start the week off. So welcome to Resilient Conversations and Consulting. I am your host, Miss Quita. We do this every second and fourth Monday of the month. So welcome to your mid-month fill up. I hope that you all are ready for the resiliency that you need for your day-to-day life. So life doesn't stop, and so we don't stop either here at Real Resilient Conversations and Consulting. We do this whether you're watching it live or on rebroadcast. Whether you're snuggled up, you're single, go ahead and get your snacks. Go ahead and get your blanket because it's time for you to click on in, get your notebooks ready. We're going to go ahead and jump right in. Oh, also, if you don't mind, it takes 2 seconds to do, but it means the world to me. If you could like, share, subscribe, make sure you hit the notification bell so you do not miss out every time that we put something out here, because we do this for you, so you can continue to grow yourself emotionally, mentally, spiritually. And of course, over time, you are able to do things on a physical nature as well. So with that being said, are y'all ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Let me see. Somebody down there. Hey, Biba. My Biba is on. Hello, hello. Thank you. So, if you don't know, for those of my people that are here from day to day, every time we come on, welcome back my R2Cs, my Real Resilient Conversation crew. And if it's your first time, that's okay. Sit back and let's see if this is something that you enjoy, this type of teaching, and we do this just for you. If not for you, then maybe share it for someone else that may need the teaching and the opportunity to grow. So, what do you think love me not has to do with your resiliency? Right? What does it have to do with your resiliency? You're talking about resiliency, that means that can be a big word, right? When you are, excuse me, when you're looking at yourself in your life and having to always be able to come back up when life knocks you down, right? And so when you're talking about love me, it seems like that should be easy, right? That's not a bounce back factor. That is just a embrace the moment. But when you are loving someone or receiving love, you would definitely have to have some resiliency. So we want to start with talking about the psychology of love and the attachment styles. And the reason I wanted to start out that way is because we want to start with the mind first, understanding that there are different types, and then going kind of into where those different types may have formulated or grown over time. I apologize. Somebody is at my doorbell and I don't know who. I'll, I'll let my business partner take care of that. I'm like, there's somebody at my doorbell. All right, so number one, love attachment style would be secure. So these people that are secure have a positive self-image. They are the ones that they are comfortable with intimacy. They are comfortable with discussing hard topics. These are the people that see themselves as equal in relationships. They don't see themselves as above or beneath, but as an equal partnership. And these are the people that seek connection. They provide a space and a place for you to feel comfortable and for them to be comfortable in whatever atmosphere that they're in. These are the secure people when you're talking about love and attachment styles, right? Hi, Mom. So good to see you. Thank you for joining. Look, I got my mom, my sister, my other spiritual mom. This is just a good time already. I believe my mic is on somewhere. So this is just a wonderful day already. Number two, or the second type of attachment style, would be anxious, or the pursuer. Now, when you're thinking about a pursuer and you're talking about anxious people, and you're talking about love and attachment styles, what does that formulate in your mind? What type of things or people do you think formulate or are attached to anxious pursuer type of people? So these are usually your insecure people. They have positive views of everyone else, but negative views of themselves. Excuse me, they fear losing relationships. And so they will pursue, but they won't stay, right? Because they have those emotional roller coasters, up, down, up, down. Today they're good, tomorrow they hate you. It's a bipolar type of mindset when it comes to pursuing pursuing someone, or just pursuing a situation. They are very anxious and they are nervous about losing that person or losing that friendship, and so it makes them kind of keep people away. So these are usually your anxious people. Now, your avoidant people or your withdrawal people. Your withdrawal people are the people that are unstable with their views of themselves and everyone else. They fear intimacy because they are worried. They avoid the possibility of them being hurt, or they avoid the possibility of someone being able to talk negative about them, and so they look at themselves as above only. Which, if you're doing it from a biblical aspect, got it. But when you're doing it from a I am higher than you, their partner is looked upon as beneath them, then that is where the issue becomes a bigger issue, if that makes sense. So they seek distance. So they want to be distant from people, and they avoid all types of attachments. So these are the people that you like. Don't you have friends? And they're like, no, not really, because they don't see themselves as being with anyone. These are also the people that usually are still celibate and not by choice. All right, if that makes sense. And it's because they fear intimacy, because of the fear of being able to perform or not to perform. And these are the people, like I said, that view themselves as higher. So why would they give up themselves just for it to be less than, right? And the last would be fearful or disorganized. Now, I'm just giving you some pointers. I'm not getting ready to break it all down just because of time, but they look at themselves. They are very negative with themselves, negative of others. They long for love, but they reject intimacy. Are you seeing a pattern here? These are the people that reject intimacy. These are the people that like to keep score. Your fearful people, disorganized people, like to keep score. Well, you did this, so I got to do that. You did this, and you did this, and you did this, and so you don't deserve to be around me or to love me or to receive love from me. These are your score keepers. These are also the people that will pursue you, but then they withdraw at the same time to avoid from being hurt. So as soon as you start to like them, then they're like, oh, I don't like you no more. Don't talk to me. Don't call me. These are your ghosters, is what I like to call it. Your fearful people. They are afraid of, they have a negative image of themselves, a negative image of you, and they already keeping score of everything that you do wrong, all of your wrongful doings. They are keeping score. And so before you can correct them, so to speak, then they are ready to walk away. So how do these things come about, right? And how does early experiences shape our love patterns? What does that look like when you're talking about shaping your love pattern? And the templates, it's kind of like the templates that we use to guide our expectations, our decisions, our behaviors, right? And most of the time, it starts from early childhood development. It starts from how your mother or father treated you, how they spoke with you, how they allowed you to be expressive, right? This also goes back to repetitive cycles, right, that perpetuate a dysfunctional behavior. So if you are used to yelling and screaming at your mate, and then the next person you get with, you like that yelling and screaming type of thing, the repetitive cycles perpetuate dysfunction in your household, and you're wondering why your relationships didn't work out the way that they did. Your children didn't behave the way that you did or that they did. It was because of the repetitive cycle of negativity, of dysfunction. And so now that becomes the norm. And now your children, they learn that, and that's how they continue to go about teaching and training their children to be, right? And so someone has to break the repetitive cycles. So the next thing would be, once again, I talked about it a little bit earlier when I said childhood experiences, would be your parental role models. They are the first ones that teach you how to love. So if you have not had the opportunity to see the love that comes in, and they're kissing and holding hands and hugging each other and telling each other, have a good day, and I love you, and you're amazing, and positive affirmations, if you are not used to seeing that type of healthy communication, respect, emotional safety, where they're able to speak out and say, I don't feel safe, or I don't feel emotionally connected, that you didn't grow up seeing that type of thing, and then you have not broke the repetitive cycle, right? Now you continue to deal with conflict, emotional unavailability. Now you're looking at the instability in your household, within yourself, because this is what you have learned, this is what you've seen, and this is what you have continuously repeated the cycle. As we get older, as we have life experiences, the expectation is that you have learned and grown within yourself. And now you have been able to pass those things over to your children, right? And over to your family members to teach them how to love. And so I say that because now the question is, what are the key messages that you have absorbed about love from your childhood? From your childhood, what have you, or how have you learned how to love? Was there nurturing and guidance and discussions? Or was there a lot of screaming, yelling, throwing things, and that's just how you grew up, right? Were you neglected? Were you abused? Were you talked to respectfully? Do you understand what it means to respect boundaries, right? Next thing I want to hit on for the sake of time is hello, hello. Thank you so much, Miss Brooks. I appreciate you. Yes, I do agree. Everything starts at childhood. It starts with childhood. And this is why parents, we have to be very mindful how we are training up our children and how we are talking to ourselves, number one. So now we know how we talk to our children. And not just the children that you give birth, but those that are your nieces, nephews, grandchildren, godchildren. How you speak to children that you have access to, that you have influence over. Let me say that, influence over. How do you speak to them? It makes a difference, right? Number two would be signs of healthy versus toxic love. Oh, down in the chat, tell me what you think is a healthy versus a toxic love. And Mr. Mr. Sully, if you can you bring up some of the comments so I can see them on the screen? Sorry, I didn't wear my glasses. So first experience of affection. What did your first experience of affection and rejection look like? Were you able to build, or did it create some deep rooted fears of abandonment? Right? I had to think of this myself. Do I have deep rooted fears of abandonment? And did that go back into why I felt unworthy at times? And I had to admit that there were some things that in my childhood that did leave me feeling abandoned. Now, that childhood trauma or betrayal sometimes results in people not being able to trust or to build trusting relationships, secure bonding, because they have experienced a a childhood toxic type of experience that made them feel abandoned, unworthy, and now they don't trust. So whenever you're seeing those patterns or those flags, make sure that you're discussing that with your potential mate when you're asking them to love you or love you not. Meaning, be with me or let's not. The second part, I guess 2.2 of it would be knowing your love language. How do you deliver love and how do you receive love? What is necessary in order for you to feel loved? Right? Sometimes you have to do some research. You got to look up some things. You got to get creative. If the person that you're with likes surprises, enjoys the love and the appreciation, then you have to get creative with you are not one that likes to plan or to give gifts. Now you got to get creative and look it up. You got Google, you got Alexa devices, you got Siri devices, you got everything that you can use, right? All of these AI tools can help you out. 2.3 would be, your emotional regulation. We're going to kind of hit on this later on too. But emotional regulation helps with your signs of healthy versus toxic love. Knowing if you're able to express yourself emotionally, or if you have had to suppress your emotional how you express your emotions. Have you had to suppress them? And so because of that, it also leads you to feeling abandoned. You have the silent treatment, and now you fear conflict. So now you overcompensate to keep the peace. I have to say that I am recovering from that type of mindset. I would always overcompensate to keep the peace. Even if I knew it was going to make my significant other mad, then instead I would do everything I could to where they would not be mad, because I didn't want to deal with the silent treatment. I didn't want them to leave. And these are things that if you grew up in your expression of how you felt, your emotional expression was silenced or suppressed, these can lead to you not being able to express your emotions in relationships later on. All right. So number 3 is love versus infatuation. Ooh, child. Ooh, child. Ooh, child. Tell me in the comments down here. Tell me what you think is the difference between love and infatuation. Right? How can you tell real love from this temporary attraction? Because when you got somebody fine, you look and you like, ooh, baby, you know you fine. How do you know the difference between if you're in love or if you're just infatuated? So the test would be, would your feelings remain the same or be as strong if the physical attraction was not there? Mm. If all of the attraction, the excitement, if all of that wore off, do you still like them? Do you still love them? Do you still want to be with them? Do you still see yourself with a future with them? Or would you be like, oh, well, no, that was just infatuation. Let's just keep it moving. You have to know, you have to do some tests, right? But usually, time and emotional stability are kind of going to be what grounds you, because infatuation really it overwhelms you, right? It feels so heavy, and because it's quick, it's here today, gone tomorrow. But love will be your grounding point. Even the good, bad, ugly, happy or sad, it grounds you. It makes you feel at peace. These are the people that you need to keep in your life, right? Um, Let me see. Love is lasting. Infatuation is only for a moment. You know that's right. And I'm trying to be with the person that loves me at every moment. My good, bad, happy, sad, the different layers of Miss Quita. Have a couple layers, y'all, right? Can you acknowledge that person's imperfections um, are still worthy of you wanting to be with them? Can you acknowledge their imperfections without losing interest? That's the big thing. If you feel like you cannot, then you're just infatuated, in my opinion, right? The depth of love is about connection. Infatuation is about possession. Let me say that again. Let me slow it down. The depth of love is about connection, right? Infatuation, however, is about possession. Infatuation focuses on wanting the person for validation, for desire, for status. But love is about mutual growth. It's about respect. It's about deep emotional connection and intimacy, right? Do you care more about who they are as a person or just how they make you feel, right? Love is lasting. Infatuation is only for a moment. Absolutely. Hello, Miss Pam. Good to see you. Good evening. That's my sissy right there, my prayer partner. So commitment. Commitment is about where the love will endure. Infatuation is conditional. How many of y'all out here know about that conditional love and what that looks like, feels like, and you like, I don't want any parts of it. When you're talking about commitments, love endures and infatuation is conditional. Now, to test this, would you still choose them during tough times or only when things are exciting and good? Because when you're talking about commitment, it's going to be times where you up and times where you down. Are you still willing to be with that person? Do you think that you can still talk to that person, talk with that person, and not talk at that person? That makes a difference, right? Communication would be the next thing that I really want you to think about when you're talking about communication. Love listens, infatuation answers, right? Amen. She said that's some good stuff. Pam said that's some good stuff, right? Love listens, but infatuation answers or assumes, not answers, they assume. So usually they do answer, but it's usually an answer with an assumption. When you're talking about how love assumes, they assume that you're cheating, they assume that you're lying, they assume all of the negative things about you. But love says, can you help me understand? Love listens. There's a difference, right? And so when you're talking about how love is not conditional, it just endures. Love listens, it doesn't assume. Love is about connection, it's not about possession. Now, when you're talking about it, do you enjoy meaningful conversations? Right? I know some people like, I don't like to do all that talking stuff. Just let me see what you're about. Just do the action, right? But there's going to be times that you need to be able to discuss life, things that you've been through, things that you want to experience, how you want to experience them with the person that you are looking to spend life with. If I can't talk to you, right, as my best friend, because your mate should be your best friend. If I can't have everyday conversations with you without you feeling like I am pushing a narrative, now we have a problem because now our communication has been stifled. We have to learn how to communicate, right? Because love listens, infatuation assumes. They assume that you're coming after them in some type of negative way. Do you enjoy meaningful conversations or do you just enjoy exciting times? Because infatuation just wants the excitement. Love wants the deep conversations, want the things that y'all can sit up and talk about all night and feel happy about it because you're learning more about each other, right? Self-perception is also where love encourages that growth when you're talking about self-perception. You see yourself. Love is going to say, what can I do to help you grow? Infatuation is going to feed into obsession. They're going to be like, you fine, you don't do this, you make me look good when you with me, right? You become their obsession. But love says, I want to see you grow. And what can I do to make you a better man or a better woman, right? Depending on who's on the other side, right? What can I do to make you better? And all I'm trying to do is help. I'm not trying to take anything. I want to love on you and give to you. When you are growing a plant can't give anything to you until it grows, right? Does this relationship make you a better version of yourself? That is always the question I ask myself. Does this make me want to get closer to God, or is this pulling me away? Does this make me want to be a better woman so now I know how to love them, or does it make me want to just be at home and away? What type of things make you feel like a better version of yourself when you're with this person? Love me or love me not? Right? Let's go into, because I don't have much time. I can't even see. Yeah, oh, I'm already past it. Okay. I told you I wasn't going to get through all of this. The role of emotional maturity in relationships. What do you think they are? Effective communication, handling conflict with maturity, emotional regulation. Emotional regulation. I'm gonna say it again for one time for the Holy Ghost, one time in the back for the people that didn't hear. Emotional regulation. You got to recognize what your triggers are and learn how to self-soothe. You don't always have to have somebody there to make you feel better. Learn how to be alone and know what your triggers are and how to self-soothe. Not heal, but soothe yourself. So where now you're able to deal with them on a healthy level using healthy boundaries. Excuse me. Accountability and growth mindset. Are you accountable for the things that you do and say? And is your mindset on how you can grow yourself and become a better man, better woman, better sister, brother, child? Right? Better put your name in place. Right? Do you have empathy? Do you have emotional support? When I say emotional support, do you have someone that if you needed a good cry, you feel comfortable doing that with them? If not, maybe you're with the wrong person. Long-term commitment. I'm going to say it again slow. Long-term commitment and resiliency. These are the roles of emotional maturity. They all play a role in your emotional maturity. Let's see. Clifford, thank you so much for coming. Hi, Miss Gina. And Mama Brooke said, love will listen and hears a man's cry or a woman's cry. It does. Now, I know there are a lot of men out there that's like, I'm not crying in front of a woman. And that's just showing a sign of weakness. I think that to me, that is a sign of vulnerability. And as a woman that is opening up or allowing that man to open up to you, and I want to hear it. I want to see it. Now, I know there's some women that are like, if I see him cry, we're done. Could be weak. For me, I'm like, that's not weak. That is vulnerability. And that's the strongest thing that a man can do because he has to feel comfortable. That has to be a safe space for him to be able to take off his armor and cry. Right? So the next thing would be, and then I'm gonna have to stop here. The next bit, y'all gonna have to just get on the next week because I'm already past my time. It's gonna be about rejection and self-worth. Now, this is the love me not part, right? When you're talking about all right, so Mr. Sullivan said it's very important that I can cry and express my emotions in a healthy, safe environment. If you are not somewhere where you feel healthy and safe, I can almost guarantee that you're not going to get a man that feels comfortable crying in front of you. It has to be a healthy, safe environment. Ladies, are you creating these environments where these men feel comfortable being who they are? So how to handle the love me not situations, right? We talked about the love thing, we talked about things, what it looks like, what it feels like, where it starts. And now I'm going to only give you part of this because I'm past my time. Safe environments, yes. All right. So how to handle those love me nots? We need to recognize the reality of the situation. The reality could be that you love them, but they don't love you back. You're looking for something serious. They're not looking for something serious. They are looking for a good time. You're looking for a long time, right? You have to understand the reality of the situation, and your mindset should shift, right? When you are getting and you realizing that, dang, I really like them, but I don't think they really like me like that, or at least not in the way that I like them. And I got to make some changes. Now, your mindset should be that you are looking for love that makes you feel loved, secure, that's mutual, that's consistent, right? You need this consistency if you're constantly questioning their feelings for you. It just may not be love. It could be an attachment or longing for validation, but it's not love. And that's when you realize that they don't love you, right? And accepting what you cannot control is a big one. Understanding that some of their emotional ups, downs, around and around could come from their childhood experiences, their adult experiences, the repetitive cycles of negativity, and then you can't control that. They have to get the help, find the right people to grow themselves, to want to change their mindset and their lifestyles, right, for better. And you have to say, I release anything that I release the, oh my goodness, how does it go? I release the need to convince myself of, to convince anyone else of my worth. I am more than enough. So always say to yourself when you are thinking about the things that you cannot control, I am not to convince anyone else of my worth. I know that I am more than enough. Um, there is nothing like vulnerability in a marriage. I agree. And before you even get to the marriage part, guess what? I need vulnerability in my long-term relationship. I need it. I won't even say I desire it. I need vulnerability. If my partner is not able to be vulnerable with me, then I have not created a space or they do not feel comfortable enough to do so. I should always be able to have a space available for them to be vulnerable and for me to feel like I am not pulling anything away from them. I'm only giving love, support, adoration to them because that is what they need at that time. And I expect my partner to be the same way with me, right? Uh, so prioritize your self worth. When you are in a love me not situation, your self worth is going to be challenged. Your mindset, as far as your self worth, is going to be challenged, right? So then I want you to write down 5 things about yourself. Just stop what you're doing, pause the YouTube channel if you need to. If you're watching it on rebroadcast, pause it, write down 5 things that you deserve in love and compare them to the way you're being treated. Hear me again. 5 things that you deserve when you are wanting to be loved versus 5 things that you are not getting, or the things that are actually happening. And do they align? And if they don't, it's time to make a hard decision. I want you to create distance and stop feeding the illusion. Feeding the illusion meaning, oh, one day we're going to be in love, we're going to be married, we're going to have this happy life together. Don't feed the illusion when you know that they don't love you. So now you have to distance yourself. Stop spending time with them. Stop going over to their house. Stop, providing the intimate things that made that reality, or made that situation what it was. Mindset should be distancing yourself allows clarity, gives you time to think and see things for what it really is. When your vision is cloudy, you need a new set of lenses. And sometimes you have to back up because the glasses that you had on are for up close. But sometimes you got to back up so you can see things for what they are. You need the distance for clarity. You have to be able to, if somebody says that they are not for you or that they are not meant for you, that's okay, right? Anybody that's supposed to be there for you will come around. They will find you. They will come toward you and not away from you. They will come toward you and not away from you. You have to process the emotions. The reason I say you still need to process these emotions, like healing is not about pretending that it didn't happen or that you don't feel anything. Healing is about understanding, being in that moment, but not being in that moment, but not living there. So take time out, give yourself 10 minutes to grieve or to cry or to scream, and then be like, okay, now it's time to do something that's going to make me happy. You understand what I'm saying? Building or looking and being honest about what's going on, right? Stop feeding the illusion, process the emotions without getting stuck. Don't get stuck in it. It's easy to do, especially if you are one that deals with depression or anxiety. You get stuck in it and it repeats in your mind like a reel over and over again. Make sure, right, you process the emotions without getting stuck. You have to remember that healing, like I said, isn't about pretending that you care. It's about realizing and feeling the release. You have to be released without letting it define you. Don't let it define who you are as a person. Redirect your energy to self growth, self determination, self fulfillment, right? Challenge yourself. Every time you think about something negative, take five, and you have to write down five things to combat the one negative thought that you had. Now, give me five positive things about who you are, what you're doing, where you're going, about yourself. And lastly, and then I'm going to have to take the next little bit onto the road. The next thing is to open yourself up to someone who truly chooses you. They choose you over and over and over again, no matter what the situation looks like. They choose you. They don't say, well, not today, not tomorrow. I don't have time to talk to you. You're not important enough. They might not say you're not important enough, but they don't value the conversation. They don't value seeing you enough to want to see you on a daily basis, to talk to you on a daily basis, to make you feel loved, wanted, desired. Find someone who chooses you in the way that you need to be loved. And I want you to affirm yourself. I attract love, and love is reciprocated back to me. Be intentional and be reciprocal. Be intentional, be reciprocal with the love that you are desiring. So I know we're past our time. Let me see. She said, appreciate, create, laughter, communication, inspired. Man, I just love how the fact that we can look at, you need to feel appreciated. You need to feel, oh, is that crested? Crested. Now that's a new word. How am I gonna? I'll look it up. Laughter. Can you laugh with each other? Communication, right? And I want to feel inspired by my mate too. Absolutely. Absolutely. So we are out of time. I know that I'm already 15 minutes over. I told you I had so much information. If y'all seen, I was just click clacking away. So I pray that I said something that has jump started your resiliency, that has really got you thinking about how you're making your love and attachments, where it could have started from, what your relationships have looked like over time. Understanding the difference between love and infatuation, and looking at some of the depth of what love is versus when you get the love me not situations, and how that can affect you, and how to just turn those negative thoughts and emotions around into something positive for you. So final thought, this is not the end, it's a new beginning, right? Love should never be one-sided. Emotional maturity is key to your relationship lasting, right? Love is deep. Love is deep. Infatuation is shallow. But you have the opportunity to rewrite your story. And it starts today. It starts today. So make sure that you come back. If I said something that you have enjoyed, please, please, please make sure that you come back and see us. Put some comments down there in the comment section so I know that you enjoyed tonight. Thank you so much, Miss Pam. And tonight, I know I had so much information, but don't worry, come back on the 24th of February. 24th of February, I'm gonna just give you the other half. There it is. Part 2 will be the second half. So if you enjoyed part 1, please make sure you like, share, subscribe, share it so people know, like, this is good. You need to hear part 1, because on the 24th, when she come back for part 2, you don't want to miss that either. So I will be here as we discuss Love Me Not part 2. Remember that it is a sin to be good when you are called to be great. Until I see you again, love, peace, joy, I pray unto you. I see y'all soon. Love you. Bye.